Hey everyone, it's me, Nicholas, and today I have a present for all my Catholic viewers. Happy Lent, and to commemorate Lent, we are doing Friday Night Fish Fry, aka Dogmatika Suship. Now, I've been interested in sushi since it was spoiled from the OCG just because I love the idea of sushi ships. I think it's really funny. However, the deck itself is not very good. So to supplement that, I've added the Dogmatikas as a way to give the deck a turn 1 play, and as a way to interrupt our opponent on their turn, as that doesn't really exist in the Dogmatika deck, in the Suship deck itself. Suships are a rank 4 deck. They are very good at battle, and they're very good at making Zeus, but they can't do much outside of that. They don't really have disruption on our opponent's turn. They don't really have a lot of destruction effects built into their monsters that are easily accessible. But they're really good at putting out Xyz monsters. So, with some cool rank 4s and our Dogmatika engine, let's see if Suships are up to the task of going to locals. The most important card in this deck, of course, is 3 Suship Shari. Now, it's a 2000 attack normal monster. The most important part about this card is every single main deck Suship monster and every single Suship extra deck monster gain additional effects if there is a Shari in rotation. So our first card that will show this is the Shiraho. So if I control Shari, I can special summon Shiraho. Shiraho also has the effect where I can special summon a Suship from my hand, any Suship, and then I can put a Shari from either my graveyard or my deck on top of my deck. Top deck manipulation is very important in this deck, which is shown by the next card, Gunkin Ship Ikura. So it shares the same effect where I can special summon it if I control Shari. Then I can activate the effect to excavate 3 cards. If in one of those excavated cards there's a Shari, I can either add to my hand or special summon the Shari and then shuffle the rest back. This is very good for keeping Sharis in your hand and in rotation because you want them both on the field and in your hand. Our next main deck Suship, and the last one, is going to be Uni. So Uni is the only 5 out of here. You can reveal this card in hand and one other Suship card, any Suship card, and if the revealed card is a Shari, special summon both of them. If it's just a normal Suship card, you special summon the Uni and then shuffle the other one back into your deck. Uni also has the effect where I can target any Suship on my field, change its level to 4 or 5, that way you can make the rank 5 Suship, or if you don't want to make that, you can make a rank 4 Suship, and then you can add a Shari to your hand. Next we have our Dogmatika package. We are running 1 Ecclesia, the Searcher, we know her, we love her, and 1 Fleur-de-Lis for some interruption on our opponent's turn. You're also running a Time Thief package of 1 Winder and 1 Bezel Ship. So Winder, you can special summon it by detaching a Xyz material from an Xyz monster you control. This is really good because the Suship Xyz monsters don't actually have an effect to detach their material. They don't need to, so this is a good way to use that. And when summoned, you can add a Time Thief to your hand. So Bezel Ship, you can quick effect, sacrifice it to add a card from your opponent's graveyard as material to a Time Thief Xyz monster you control, and you can also detach to special summon this card from the graveyard. Finally, we are running a playset of Rescue Rabbits. Normal summon it, sacrifice it, get 2 normals, make an Xyz monster, or special summon more Suships from your hand. Very, very good. We are also running triple Ghost Ogre as our hand trap of choice. Ghost Ogre is incredible in this format because of all the adventure that's running around, and all the other cards that need to resolve their effects while they're still on field. Glad to see this card's good again because it's a really awesome budget hand trap. Next, we have 3 of the field spell. Now, this is a really interesting field spell. So, once per turn, if you normal or special summon a Gunkin monster, even during the damage step, this is a very interesting clause, you can place 1 Gunkin monster card from your deck on top of your deck. Then once per turn, if a face-up Gunkin monster you control was special summoned from the extra deck is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can activate this effect. Your opponent pays life points equal to the monster's the monster's defense in the graveyard. Then you can special summon a Gunkin extract monster using a Gunkin Suship Shari from your hand. Very interesting. It's got recovery. It's just such a weird card. It doesn't interrupt, but the recovery is nice to prevent you from dying. Next, we have 2 Nadir Servant. You know it, you love it. Get your Ecclesia. Not get your Ecclesias to hand. This is how you get your punishments to hand or your Fleur-de-Lis if you've already drawn your punishment. Very powerful card, down to 2, but let's be honest, 2 doesn't really affect this card. Next, we're going to our extenders. So we have 3 Unexpected Die, special summon 1 normal monster from your deck if you control no monsters. Incredibly powerful, getting your Sharis into rotation. 2 Painful Decisions, send a normal monster to the graveyard to add 1 of those normal monsters to your hand. Again, a great way to get Shari into rotation. You want to have Shari in rotation for this deck to function. Next, we have the trap card, Gunkin Suship Daily Special. This is another weird card. The Gunkin spell trap card is just really weird. So when you flip it, you can optionally reveal Shari in your hand. If you don't worry, you can still activate this card. Then you reveal 3 Gunkin cards from your deck, and your opponent chooses 1 to add to your hand. However, if you already have a Shari in your hand and you reveal the Shari, then you get to pick the card. It's a good setup tool, but on a trap card, it's only good for turn 3, so you run it because you need to, but I wish this was some form of disruption. Next, of course, we got the 1 punishment. Flip it, send a card to destroy a card. Very cool. 2 imperms, it's a very good budget trap card to have in this meta. You can negate something from your hand by activating it from your hand if you control no monsters, and if you activate while it's set, you can block off one of their spell trap zones. Finally, to round out the deck, we're running 1 Shade Brigandine. This is really good for any Redoer plays because that automatically puts a trap under your Redoer. Or if you're just lacking any level 4 extenders, say you draw like all spell traps and then 1 level 4, you can make a rank 4 with this card. Speaking of 4s, let's get onto the extra deck, shall we? So first, we are running 2 Gunkin Suship Uni-class Super Dreadnought. Now, every single Gunkin Xyz monster shares the effect that if they have Shari under them as material, you get to draw a card, and they also have an effect if they're summoned with their corresponding Gunkin card. I won't mention the Shari effect, but as long as it has Gunkin in the name, know that if there's a Shari under it, you get to draw a card when you summon it. Now this one, when it is summoned while you have an Uni as material, it gains the ability to attack directly, which is really good because it's 2900, and it makes Zeus pretty well. Next, during my main phase or my opponent's battle phase, I target numbers of my opponent's monsters equal to the number of Gunkin Xyz monsters I control and negate their effects permanently. The negating stuff permanently is really good. It's just restricted by the phases. Since it can only be done during my main phase or my opponent's battle phase, it's not as impactful. This is mostly best for making Zeus. Next, we have 2 Ikura class Dreadnought. When this is summoned with Ikura as material, it can attack twice, which is very cool because it's got 2200 attack. And then when a Gunkin monster you control deals damage to your opponent, specifically a Gunkin special summon from the extra deck, you can destroy a card that your opponent controls. Finally, rounding out the Gunkins, we have Shiro class Carrier. Now, if it is summoned with Shiro as material, I can add 1 Gunkin spell track card from my deck to my hand. Then it has the ability that the Gunkin Xyz monsters all gain attack equal to their defense, which is why their defenses are so minuscule. This one has 250, the red one has 300, and the level 5 is 500. But this gets them pretty big so they can go over most anything. Next, for our time thieves, we're running 1 Redoer and 1 Double Barrel. We are running 1 Baguska. Baguska's great because he just negates the effect of anything and forces it in defense position. Doesn't work on Link monsters, but you take what you can get. Abyss Dweller to negate any pesky graveyard effects. And the Downerd and the Zeus, because this deck's really good at making Zeus. You can very easily make a 4 material Zeus in this deck. We're also running 1 Nightmare Cerberus. This should be a Phoenix, but I couldn't find one lying around, so just pretend that's Phoenix. We have Titaniclad as our send-off and Deer Servant. Finally, for our punishment target, we have Wind Pegasus. Now, when a card you control is destroyed by your opponent's cards, you can banish this card and then shuffle a card they control into the deck. So that's very good. And yeah, that is Friday Night Fish Fry. I hope you enjoyed this deck. It's not gonna win any regionals. It's very casually oriented, but it is fun. And fun is something that I feel like we all could use at this moment. All right, I'll catch you around later.